everything that you do is about alignment.
Absolutely.
And when you align yourself, the resilience is there. Okay. I wanted to be free. I wanted to be free from what? I wanted to be free from clocking in. So how did I free myself from clocking in? I had to plug in
Hmm.
to those things, those adages, those nuances, that knowledge base, and the success of others that would give me a roadmap.
Wow. Welcome to another episode of the Happy Friday Committee Mindset. Today we have a special guest coming on, Mr. Ture Muhammad, who does a lot for his community and is a wealth builder and knows a lot about networking and what it takes to succeed in that. And I wanted him to come on just to get his perspective on the Happy Friday Committee mindset, which is being fearless, resilient, intuitive, determined, appreciative, and youthful. And I wanted to frame that in what you do every day regarding wealth building, working and networking.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to start off with being fearless. What does that mean to you?
Well, let me just say, Brother Jason, it's indeed an honor to be here, the honor to acknowledge your work, watch your work, and your book. So I really, truly appreciate all that you do for community or community, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And I will say this, every day in the Happy Friday dynamic should be Friday. Every
Absolutely.
day for me is Friday. Just looking at the acronym itself, every single day for me is Friday, you know? And so to be fearless is really rooted in understanding the power of courage and where it comes from. It really uh, it's a mindset that you grow into, where
Yes,
you
sir.
go from knowing who you are and whose you are.
Yes, sir.
And as you toil, right, as you move in that ordained space known as struggle, then what happens is you begin to open the door of courage as you challenge yourself in your pursuits. So courage is a door that you can only open from the inside. Nobody can give that to you from another dynamic. You have to make up your mind in yourself.
Yes, sir.
And truthfully, based in fearless and being fearless, it's the attitude. The attitude grows when you feed it, when you feed the goal, when you feed the dream or the objective. I remember how growing up, I wanted to be a baseball player. Then I wanted to be a basketball player. Then I wanted to be a priest. Then I wanted to be a lawyer. I wanted to be a doctor. I wanted to be anything that looked productive to me, right? And it wasn't even a matter of having the tools. It was all a matter of having the dream.
Mm.
It was all a matter of having the dream in front of me. Now, dreams do get crushed,
Yes, sir.
but this is where fearless or growing into fearless comes in, or fearlessness comes in. Ben Franklin is quoted as saying that we live until we're 18 and we're buried at 65. Well,
Mm.
darn, what happened between 18 and 65?
Wow.
For most
Wow.
people, a job.
Yes,
So the
sir.
job will suppress the dreams. For most people, it's school or hang around a sum of your peers. You know, we 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 are a sum of who we align ourselves with, right?
Yes,
A
sir.
pie is equal to the sum of all its parts. Okay. So if you align yourself with five broke people, guess who's the sixth?
Mm.
Right? But
Yes,
if
sir.
you align yourself with a community that's looking to shape new experiences, then as you align with that community, it starts out small. But as you align with it and grow with it, and sometimes the community is just reading.
Yes, sir.
Sometimes the community is attending an event. Sometimes the community is just watching something on the television, whatever, something that takes you out of the space that you're normally in to allow you to raise the bar on your
Yes, sir.
own expectations, the fearlessness grows. So for me, to be fearless is to be determined, is to be intentional, and is to be purposed.
Absolutely. Absolutely. With that, you mentioned something as far as you may have a dream and your dream may get crushed. How so do I bounce back, which enters the word being resilient? How
Mm-hmm.
do I bounce back if my dream is crushed after I'm going after something?
Well, the way you bounce back is to do the one fundamental thing. Don't quit on your dream.
Mm, mm,
Don't quit on your dream. You know, um, failures are steps.
mm.
There, there, that's not a time to quit. A failure is a step. You
Yes,
know,
sir.
if you fall, cases you fall forward. Les
Mm.
Brown, the great motivational speaker, he says, if you fall back, if you can look up, you can get up.
Yes,
You
sir.
know, so it's it's a matter of resilience. Resilience allows you to recover when you keep in mind all the time what your struggle is all about. What
Yes,
did
sir.
you come to this for? Whether it was a faith tradition, whether it's a business, what did you come to it for, and how can you make it better? Every evening, when Allah blesses me to sort of wind down and give it an end of day,
Yes, sir.
I always look in the mirror and I ask this question. I said, if everybody in my business today did what I did, what would my business look like?
Mm.
I do that. And then I write out well, it's probably dozens, but I'll write out two or three of the things that I could have done better,
Yes, sir.
and that propels me into the next day. Resilience is when you can go to sleep claiming a victory of the day and already have your day planned for the following. Because if you wake up without a plan, you're already behind.
Yes, sir. Yes,
So
sir.
resilience are those things that you set up and set in place to bounce back and break through.
Yes, sir.
Resilience. I love that word because just when someone thinks you're down with their own thinking, guess again, right? Uh, I'll go to, I can go to a Walmart or Sam's Club or Costco's. I can go shopping in any of these places. Now, I don't dress like this, but I could be in flip flops or slippers and walk around in pajama bottoms and a bonnet on my head, like I see in Walmart. So many people walk around, and no one knows I'm wealthy.
Yes, sir.
Not so. Nobody knows unless we tell them, because when you're, okay, resilience. If we know the steps, right, to growing wealth, I'm a wealth builder from home.
Yes,
So
sir.
when you know the steps, the attitude is supported by getting what you expect. What
Absolutely.
happens in the pursuit of wealth? Well, first, you're going to be free before you're rich.
Yes, sir.
And then you're going to be rich before you're wealthy.
Wow.
And if you understand that process and align yourself again with that community of wealth building mindset, true wealth is in the spirit, right? That's where it all begins.
Yes, sir.
So when you feed the mind and feed the spirit and it's in line with your goals, no, I'm not going to read Donald Goines and The Adventures of Iceberg Slim because that's not in pursuit of my goals, right?
Yes,
So
sir.
it's you. Everything that you do is about alignment,
Absolutely.
and when you align yourself, the resilience is there. Okay, I wanted to be free. I wanted to be free from what? I wanted to be free from clocking in. So how did I free myself from clocking in? I had to plug in
Mm.
to those things, those adages, those nuances, that knowledge base, and the success of others that would give me a roadmap.
Wow. Wow.
Right. So
Yes,
I
sir.
had that was the pursuit. So I decided, and like I have posted in one of my, well, the office we're in now, I have here, you either plug in or clock in.
Mm.
That was 3 years ago or 4 years ago.
Mm.
I haven't clocked in anywhere in 4 years.
Wow.
You either plug in or clock in. It was something, it was like a self-coaching. It was like a self-motivator. You know, I need $1 million. I have $1 million. My wife hates the wallpaper because it's all sticky notes. Like, look at that. You see?
Yes,
No.
sir.
I, 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 I have it everywhere. You know, those things, and it comes. I've done 4.5. But
Wow.
how does that happen? Well, first of all, it wasn't an I. Let me clean that up.
Yes, sir.
It's about a we. It's a
Yes,
sum
sir.
of all our parts. It's a networking thing. There are no big I's or little U's. If I could have done it all myself, then there'd be no need for us to even dialogue. You would never cross my path. I would never cross yours because we have no need of each other. But
Yes,
we
sir.
do because that's
Yes,
just
sir.
the way God made us.
Absolutely.
Resilience is fire, man.
Absolutely.
Resilience is dope. That's dope. Excuse me.
So, in planning your day, making plans, how do you trust, or how do you trust your intuition and planning your day and the steps that you have to take, going
Mm,
with your gut?
mm, mm. Well, at the end of the day, you live with you. At the end of the day, anything you do is all your business,
Yes,
right?
sir.
And so um, you can align yourself with others to feel good about knowing you're not by yourself, okay? But at the end of the day, you have to own it. You have to own what's come out of it, whether it be perceived as good or bad, whether it's a success or a failure.
Yes, sir.
So uh, I start my planning the day before.
Hmm.
I write out those 4 to 10 things that I must accomplish. I guarantee you, out of the 10 things, 8 of them are things that I didn't finish in this day,
Hmm.
right? So
Yes,
I know those 2 are being moved towards the planning of the next day. And I ask that question, if my business did today what I did for it, if everybody did in my business what I did for it, what would it look like?
yes,
So
sir.
I take things that I fell short on and I add them to the planning,
Hmm.
right? But
Yes,
I
sir.
don't overwhelm the planning, or else you won't do anything. So 2 or 3 things, 4 things at tops, I know I'm approaching in the next day.
Hmm.
And then I'm thanking the Lord for blessing me to acknowledge it, blessing me to achieve, to see the day. And I embrace this. I used to teach this often at the mosque. Uh, it's 24 hours in a day, or 86,400 seconds,
Yes, sir.
right? Okay, that's a bank.
Hmm.
God gives you that time in a day,
Hmm.
and we're going to work through it. Now, we all get the same 24 hours. We all get 24 hours. That's just the way it is. Time
Yes,
is
sir.
the true asset, but it's an asset that if you don't use it, you lose it.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Many people believe they're busy. Why? Because we all have the same 24 hours a day. Hey, brother Jason, can you take a look at this? Not right now. Hey, brother Eric, can you take some? I would. Give me a minute, man. I'm really busy. Well, we confuse busy with being productive.
Hmm.
It's not the same thing. So when you focus with a plan of action, then you're aligning yourself with production.
Yes, sir.
Studies have been done by many of the greats. I heard Bishop T.D. Jakes talk about it some time ago. He says that 80% of our activity is busy, but it's not productive.
Hmm.
20% of it is. So
Hmm.
there's an 80-20 rule out here in the universe, right? That we have to position ourselves to flip. That should be a goal each and every day. How do I become more productive in each day? The Honorable
Yes,
Minister Louis Farrakhan says it often. We must be productive.
yes,
Okay, in
sir.
order to be that, it requires focus, it requires intention, it requires fearlessness, it requires relentlessness. It requires those things. It requires the attitude and mindset, that discipline. All right. I want to claim 180 pounds and slim and pristine, but I can't. Why?
Yes, sir.
Because my discipline says I'm a little over 200 pounds and I have one pie too many. So there's some things you got to augment in order to realize the goals, right?
Yes, sir.
So so I look at the things the day before and I line them out. And then I close out the evening with prayer. I open up the day with prayer, and I open up with my agenda.
Hmm.
My agenda is already there for me.
Yes, sir.
I know what I'm going to do at 8 a.m. because 8 a.m. I do a Facebook show called Class in Session, 6 days a week. I do it
Hmm.
6 days a week, twice a day,
Hmm.
8 a.m. and 8 p.m. I chose that time because when I did have a job, and let me just say this, there's nothing wrong with having a job.
Yes, sir.
Okay? That's part of production, but it's also a means to an end. The job has never been designed to be permanent. It's like people getting their hair straightened, they call it temporary permanent. It's not
Yes,
designed
sir.
to be, it's not designed to be permanent, right?
Yes,
It's
sir.
designed as a stepping stone But most of us don't know that because we've been taught, as you know, Brother Jason, we've been taught to manage debt as a society.
Yes, sir.
We don't grow into freedom. We don't grow into that thing. People talk about, like a pastor will tell me in a minute, I walk into the church, have a presentation. They say, money's not everything. I said, yeah, but everything takes money.
Mm.
Money's not everything, yeah, but it's right up there with breathing.
Yes, sir.
See,
yes, sir.
So I come into the day ready to do these programs, the 8 a.m. and the 8 p.m. I have a huddle that happens called Believers Huddle, 9:15. And then I go on to do a power call at 10:45. And then I have a 12 noon presentation. Then I do a 9 p.m. presentation. Before the 9 p.m., I have a 5 p.m. drive time discussion on Facebook. So these things are aligned, right? But all in between there, I have to sprinkle in the agenda that makes my day conquerable, successful. It must be a win.
Yes, sir.
It must be a win. So that's pretty much how I plan out the day. I plan it out the day before as the evening closes, because if I wake up without a plan, then I'm already late with my day.
Wow. How did you, starting from the beginning, when you first started your business into now, how did you remain determined in that?
Because I burned bridges behind me. I went across that bridge and then I burned it. Look, I didn't, and truthfully, I don't even think it was consciously intentional.
Yes, sir.
I worked in hospitality for a long time, between the Hilton brands and the Marriott brands. I was an F&B manager in many of the properties that I was a part of, almost 20 years, but never had any money. I had a salary of over $100,000, had nothing to show for it.
Yes, sir.
It's crazy. So this one particular day, February 6th, 4 years ago, it'll be 4 years, February 6th, I'm riding to the property in Atlanta. That month I did pretty good, so I had my own parking space. They had my little name scribbled on some paper and put it over the parking spot.
Yes,
right?
sir. Yes, sir.
That employee of the month, all that kind of stuff.
Yes, sir.
I pull up in the spot. All my dry cleaning for all my suits for free. Every now and then I even send some of my wife's clothing. I had some perks,
Yes,
I can
sir.
get reduced cost on the cup of coffee I drank for the 80 to 90 hours I was putting in every week.
Wow.
Last 5 years of working, I'm putting in 80 to 90 hours on average. Right? Now, so I'm driving up to this spot and I'm asking myself, why am I even coming to work? I got hit at that point. Many of us, I loved what I did, but truthfully, most of us, not going to say none of us, most of us don't work because we love it. We work because we have to.
Yes, sir.
So I loved what I did, but it wasn't compensatory. The work didn't love me.
Yes, sir.
Right? Because I still find myself paying more rent for less house. I still find myself having to work more hours. I still find myself going between creditors, talking about $1 now and $1 when you catch me.
Yes, sir.
But I'm driving to work and I'm on this wealth building vehicle that's making all the sense to me in the world. And I said, if I just keep doing that, I won't have to come in. And I drove into the spot, could not figure out why I was at work. Now I go inside. Now I'll make it short. I go inside and there's a security officer sitting there, through the employee interest. Hey, brother, how you doing? Hey, let me ask you something. How long you been working here? He said, man, 18 years. And he said it with a lot of pride. I was happy for him.
Yes, sir.
I said, well, did you ever do anything else? I mean, you look pretty young. He said, no, the first job I had, the only job I had. Got my wife here. We both work security.
Wow.
18 years. I said, man, you're talking about a match made in heaven. He said, more like hotels.
Yeah.
So I asked him, well, what keeps you here? He said, it's a job. I said, oh. I was looking for something to hold on to.
Yes, sir.
And I didn't know the same particular day was my employee review, where you sit down before your HR folks and all the managers and the directors, and they sit there and they try to determine why they're going to give you another 50 cents on the year.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I go in there, Brother Jason, and I'm sitting there and I'm not even in the room. I was thinking about other things like what's the temperature? What's the temperature in Australia or something? I mean, my mind was nowhere near what they were talking about.
Yes, sir.
And then the woman said, Eric. And I said, oh, I'm sorry. Her name was Missy. I'm sorry, Missy. It's like you're not even here. She
Uh,
said, I knew I was free. She said, it's
mm.
like you're not even here. I said, you're right. And, we all had to have name tags and a bunch of keys. I felt like
Yes,
a
sir.
jailer, right? So I took off the name tag, which I always called the Brandon eye, and I took it off. I put it on her desk, and I took a bunch of keys, and I put them on top of the little Brandon iron, and I just pushed it over. You would have thought I had COVID. I said, what are you doing?
Wow.
I said,
Wow.
I'm sure you can find somebody
Wow.
that wants the seat that I'm currently in. And I wouldn't mind coming back over the next week or two, maybe showing those things that would help them get a jump start. Because I would have surprised you. But
Wow.
I appreciate all that you have done. It's been a wonderful experience. I'm really done.
Wow.
She said, what? But it's 6 o'clock. I said, yeah, my wife's going to trip out. They don't ever see me during the day. See, what we didn't understand with all these hours work, when I
Uh-huh.
came home, my wife and children were asleep. When I left, my wife and children were asleep. I didn't know what was going on in their world. I didn't have activities. I'm sure they wanted to talk to their dad as a children, as a husband, as my wife, but wasn't there.
Yes,
I was
sir.
like a zombie state.
Yes, sir.
And so she said, but it's 6 o'clock. I said, yeah, I got time to get home and get to the wife. Man, I can't wait. It's gonna be great. She said, she said, but who's gonna work the shift? Because I had just started.
Yes, sir.
I said, Missy, God forbid, if I were to stand up and drop dead out here today, I'm sure the least concern would be having some work that shit. You'll find
Yes,
somebody.
sir. Yes, sir.
She said, I just don't understand. I said, there's freedom in the exchange. See, when I
Mm.
gave that name tag and I gave up those keys, I got my time back. I got the money I was spending on gas and transportation. I got all the clothing that I had to buy. I got all the deductions and all that stuff came back. But
Mm-hmm.
see, now this is what I mean by burning the bridge. I didn't think about any of that
Wow.
when I left. I was thinking about me.
Yes, sir.
If I was thinking beyond me, my wife would have been free long before I was.
Wow.
That's the truth. And I would
Wow.
have just kept it knowing I had that kind of goal in it, but I wasn't smart enough.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And I left that space and I got to the house. Children popped up and looked at me because they thought they were in trouble because they see me in the daylight. So,
Yes, sir.
they
Yes, sir.
were like,
Yes, sir.
hey, Dad, assalamu alaikum, peace. Sure. What I do?
Yes, sir.
My wife came out the bedroom and saw me and she just shook her head. She intuitively, she just knew it. She
Mm.
shook her head and walked back in the room. And that's when I realized I burned the bridge.
Wow.
I said, I gotta win every day. I got to prove that what God has blessed me to see is right.
Yes, sir.
So every day
Absolutely.
became right.
Wow. Excellent. Excellent. The next question is now where you're at right now in terms of being a wealth builder and the things that you have accomplished. How do you show appreciation? How do you show gratitude in terms of everything that you have accomplished?
You're going to naturally, instinctively give back.
Mm.
There's no doubt about it. The first, well, not the first, but the reason the gratitude is so high in any wealth builder, anybody that accomplishes their dream, is because it rewards them. It proves that the road was correct.
Mm.
So you're always, when I can look now and see money as being the least of my problems,
Mm.
then, and because money is 90% of all the problems in a household.
Mm.
I mean, think about it. We have this invisible tax called inflation. No one even talks about it, but it's there,
Yes,
right?
sir.
Every tick of the clock, debt grows. Well, every tick of the clock is also a new generation of you. And when you find yourself conquering, eliminating the frustration that comes with debt, you're creating more space and time and love and greater commitment. My wife and I could talk about things now that we couldn't talk about. She's working, I'm working, she's working in this
Yes,
school,
sir.
I'm working 2 or 3 jobs. There was no room for conversation. We forgot who we married.
Yes, sir.
It's crazy, right? So when you see those, you slowly now, because they don't come instantly, you got to give
Yes,
yourself
sir.
time to succeed. But when you see yourself accomplishing the goals, those missions, because you have a plan, I got to make sure this is paid, that is paid, this is paid. I used to bribe the household with food
Mm.
because as long as people were eating, I could be in my zone doing what I'm doing and nobody look up. Maybe if I fed them enough, they'd fall out and go to sleep. I don't
Yes,
know.
sir.
But all those kind of things went through my head seriously. So the
Yes, sir.
gratitude comes in when you see that you get a footing.
Mm.
We're house hunting now, acreage hunting now. We're doing all kind of stuff that we're doing right now that we were not positioned to do 4 years ago, 5 years ago, let alone 20 plus years ago when I married her. So now
Wow.
all these things are coming into play. So the gratitude is to give back to the community that blessed you with encouraging more people to see it more and more. Networking is a space, or I define it as the art of adding value to the lives of other people.
Wow.
That's just networking. Why? I know it because it did it for me.
Yes,
And the
sir.
reason why I try to put it out in front of everybody every day is because success is the study of the obvious. No, I'm not going to show you my account, but I will show you how easy it is for you because I knew nothing about networking.
Mm.
4 years ago, I didn't know backside from elbow when it came down to something like that.
Yes, sir.
But I was willing to give it a try because it had to be better than what I was doing right now. I mean, at that point, brother Jason, you know that that the majority of people, 87% of all foreclosures in America on homes, those
Mm.
homes are lost because the people did not have just an additional $500 coming in a month free from their check
Wow. Wow.
on an average.
Wow.
So if I can show you ways to make more money, would you be interested? Would you like $500 to help you handle a light bill or a car note? If I can show you without taking it from you.
Yes,
See, I
sir.
don't want your money. I want you to want your money. See, that kind of road that I was on allowed me to share that, and it blessed me. And
Yes, sir.
in blessing me, I have to give back. I have to give back to my foundation of the Nation of Islam. I have to
Yes,
find
sir.
myself doing better here than I did prior to reaching this plateau.
Yes,
Because I'm
sir.
going to tell you something, the biggest enemy to success is success itself.
Wow. Wow.
So the more we stay in gratitude, it doesn't become routine.
Yes,
It
sir.
becomes something that's purpose. You're so full all the time. I'm giddy, clowning, laughing all of the time.
Yes, sir.
Don't make no sense.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, gratitude is how do I show the gratitude? I give back. I don't try to force my children or the other family members to do what I do because I consider myself sort of fanatical.
Yes, sir.
Your relentlessness and what you pursue with Happy Friday. See, that's a fanatical approach. That's fire. You
Yes,
know,
sir.
you want to be in front of that. You want people to you want to expose people to those things that you know are possible because then your community knows it's possible.
Yes, sir.
So I hope I answered your question, man.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm jacked
Absolutely.
up, man.
Absolutely. Well, that will go into the next question, which you answered it, but as far as being youthful,
Mm-hmm.
how do you stay youthful every day?
Stay
Uh,
on the grind. Stay on the grind and do everything you can to maintain your health. Do everything you can to keep the God out in front of you.
Yes, sir.
I'll share this, what the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan told me one day. He said, brother, he said, this is you, this is Allah.
Mm.
He said, as long as you're in the mosque, in the temple, in the study group, God is with you like this.
Mm.
Because he covers you. He protects you with his laws, his ways, his folkways, his norms, his ad norms. Everything is protected because the God has you fully covered. But now when you burst forth from the mosque study group, now God is with you like this.
Mm.
And this is where you got to really apply yourself to make sure that God is with you
Yes, sir.
because you could be going this way and God going this way.
Mm.
And so the what maintains us on this road is when we remember, as I opened in the beginning, who you are and who you.
Yes, sir.
Your health constitution, your body constitution, your mental clearness, your
Yes, sir.
clarity, your spiritual centeredness, all of it must be remain intact.
Yes, sir.
It's a must. It's a must. I'm not always at my best naturally, but I'm always or strive to always be cognizant of what it would take to get to my best.
Yes, sir.
So prayer or meditation, some of you want to call it. Y'all dress it up. Not you personally, but those who might be watching, especially
Yes,
when
sir.
you work in my space as networking space.
Yes, sir. Yes,
You
sir.
don't like talking about God and Allah, and y'all be like, well, when you're spiritually attention and gifted, the creator universe,
Yes,
well, all
sir.
that is true, but God, doggone it,
Yes, sir.
I strive mightily to keep him out,
Yes, sir.
because any success you see in me, or even in Brother Jason, you do know that that's a God gift. Success is a God gift.
Yes,
Anything
sir.
you see in us that may not be as right, well, you can blame us for that and we accept it, you
Yes, sir.
know. But all the success comes from the God. It's through my respect and love and reverence for the Creator. It's through that I learned that nobody ever succeeds trying.
Mm.
So, my father, Kwame Ture, he used to say, or Stokely Carmichael, he used to say, nothing makes a failure like a try.
Mm.
And I thought he was always speaking from a positive aspect. And for most instances, he was. But he said, failure is a step towards your goal, but a
Mm.
try will beat it, because tries never get to where you're going.
Mm.
I said, well, he said, you ever invite somebody to an event or a lecture or just to a house, and they'll say, I'll try to get there. Hey, hey, did you read my book? I'll try to get to it today. Ain't happening.
Yes, sir.
Because we put up this natural block when we say we're trying. No,
Yes,
when
sir.
we're doing,
Yes, sir.
it's a whole different animal.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I hope that was helpful.
That's
But remaining youthful, all of that is included because you're forever young.
Yes, sir.
True wealth is in the spirit. And think about this. A day with the Lord is of 1,000 years. That's what the book says.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So my 2, 3, 4 years in the networking space, that's a moment of time.
Wow.
Right? And compared to what the day with the Lord is,
Yes, sir.
how you find yourself maintaining youthfulness when you approach every day like you approach the last one, like nobody's on your team, that you have a whole world to conquer, and you're going to make it happen because it all depends on you. I pray
Absolutely.
because it all depends on God, and I work like all depends on me, and I expect miracles.
Absolutely. Wow. That's very powerful. Very powerful. The last question, and we got 5 minutes left. So I'm going to ask this last question. Out of all these principles, being fearless, resilient, intuitive, determined, appreciative, and youthful, what principle sticks out to you the most and why?
Determined.
Wow.
Determined. All of them sort of wrap around it and embrace it for me. And I want to come back one and talk about your book. But
Wow.
determined is sticking out for me because it's a determined idea that brought in the sun, moon, and stars and planets. It's a determined idea that brought uh, child from the womb. It's a determined idea to make sure I've eaten, that I'm clothed, I'm sheltered. It's determined. So when I have my dream in front of me in my crosshairs, it's the determination to see it through that makes
Wow.
it all happen. Out of your Happy Friday, man, determined. That's
Wow.
that's for me, that it really resonates.
Wow. Excellent. Excellent. Excellent answer. And I would like to thank you for coming on, taking time out of your busy schedule
Thank you,
to
brother.
do
But
this.
it's when I took away from the busy, but I joined the productive. See, that's the flip of the 2080.
Yes.
I'm here with that which is productive.
Yes, sir.
I could have been doing something else like basket weaving or something, but I
Yes.
chose to be here because you saw value in what we do in our wealth building acumen and what we offer. So I absolutely thank you, brother.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. And yeah, you can come on anytime. Come on anytime, you know. So but I would like to thank you, and I know this is going to help a whole lot of people. So thank you,
Prayerfully,
sir.
prayerfully. And look, I really want to come back, and I took the book with me on the plane, and didn't crack it there. I got all the way back to uh, Atlanta before I opened it up, and I was like, wow, you know.
Oh.
So it's powerful, man. It's this subtle wisdom. See, it's the simplicity of it is what I'm loving.
Yes, sir.
Because if you can keep it simple, it's duplicatable.
Yes. Yes, sir.
You keep it simple, and you mastered that right off the rip. Oh, I forgot. Can I tell people where they can find my wealth
Oh,
building stuff?
absolutely. 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 And I'll post it at the end as well. So,
yes, sir. Well, uh, www.bestwealth.info.
excellent.
I get paid, and we get paid to save our own money at Millionaire Rates of Return. And if you want to generate an income from it, you can do it as well, but it's completely optional. We're an asset accumulating business with a tremendous compensation plan attached.
Excellent. 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 Thank you, sir.
Thank you. May Allah continue to bless us.
Oh, you as well.
Thank you.
Bye.